Wow, is this a late night stream? What's going on? It's going to be me and whoever else is able to join. I just had thoughts on my mind. Why not? Kids are asleep, wife's asleep. Let's do a little late night streaming. What is good for those who are new to the channel? I'm literally a dude in my basement. So thank you for stopping by. Hey, isn't that what YouTube used to be about? Wasn't that what YouTube used to be about? It used to be people in their basements talking about 9/11 and all kinds of stuff. The word misinformation wasn't thrown around wrong a lot back then. You got to decide what that meant. If you want to talk about me politically, I don't even know how to describe myself. I would say I always try to think of three people to kind of mix together. So I say I'll say imagine if Kim Iverson, Dr. Naomi Wolf, philosophically, and let's pick Whitney Webb, all had a baby politically. That's where I'd be. Thanks for joining. Got some topics ranging from a tiny bit of sports to an update on the truckers. That's what every day is emotional with that one. I mean, I really can't remember the last story I followed that I was so emotionally invested in than this trucker story, man. It's like a real life drama, and I feel like it's like a TV show because I'm not there. I'm just watching videos, but it really affects you in real life. Like that's the power of what's going on with the truckers over there. Just I'll talk about that. I'm going to talk about Joe Rogan a little bit indirectly, not really Joe Rogan as much as an example of how someone can step up and speak their mind. Israel Adesanya. I'm not a UFC guy, so I don't know much about him. I hear he's a beast, but I don't know much about him. But the way that he stepped up was very respectful, and he said his opinion. I'm going to talk about the recent Joe Biden hire that's making news. I think that as usual, I kind of have a different approach on that. The approach that I'm seeing on it does not excite me. It does not excite me when we're in a battle of ideas that, and I know a lot of people really get sensitive about this because it's really a philosophical war we're in. And I think everyone has their morals at a different spot. And my morals stop where some people, they keep going. There's no right or wrong, but that's why I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to go with that angle on the new hire. I don't even know what his real position is. His position isn't really the point. The point is the reaction. What's on my radar right now? When you look at everything going on, there's a couple stories that kind of popped out to me. I want to talk about over the last couple days. These stories have come out. So I'm going to start with actually a comedian. This happened 4 days ago, but luckily we're able to follow up and see. Comedian Heather McDonald, she said she's recovering from a skull fracture after collapsing on stage. So this was published on the 7th, but it was a scary moment, a frightening moment to see her just, I mean, literally collapse. It was not it was not something that, because when you saw it, it was almost like it wasn't real.
Me to brag, I don't care, but I want you to know, double vaxxed, booster, flu shot, and I'm going to be honest, I have the shingle shot too. And I still get my period. What? Yes! Traveled, went to Mexico twice, did shows, meet and greets, never got COVID. Clearly, Jesus loves me the most. Seriously. So nice. So nice.
Oh, sorry, I was muted there. Um, McDonald revealed on Tuesday. Appreciate it. Thank you. I'm gonna have to stop using the mute, man. This is just too embarrassing. McDonald revealed on Tuesday that she felt slightly weird moments before she took the stage, but she shook it off and launched into her set. You know, she thought she didn't know if it was the leather. I think she was trying to say she was getting hot. She was like, "This better pass soon. I don't know how I'm going to do the rest of my act for like an hour." I mean, can you imagine that? She was in the emergency room. I don't know why she's apologizing. She said, "I'm so sorry," in a selfie that she took. But the only reason I feel comfortable playing that video is because we know she's okay. Now, now that we know she's okay, hopefully she's out of the wood. The first, just feedback, just a little bit of feedback. No beef, nothing like that. Um, don't brag. That's number one.
Brag. I don't care, but I want you to know.
Yeah, just don't do that. That's because this is leftist humor. You ever see Matt Walsh? He does these. It's so funny. I don't know if he still does it, but he will put leftist humor up on the screen, and he will dare, he'll watch it and he'll say, "Can these people actually make me laugh?" And he's so stone cold while he's watching it. But yeah, don't brag. And if you're gonna brag, what are you bragging about?
Double vaxxed, booster, flu shot, and I'm going to be honest, I have the shingle shot too.
Okay, you're being too honest. That's too much information. That alone was too much information, much less this.
And I still get my period. What? Yes.
Is that funny? What was that? Who, like, how is it funny? What were you going after? I'm glad she's okay. Please do not get me wrong. Jesus loves you. That's why you're
Jesus
alive.
loves me the most. Seriously.
No, for real. For real. Um, you saw what happened with Bob Saget. I don't know if it's related or not. I'm just saying, um, that was a scary situation. I do agree. Jesus does love you the most. Next topic. I just thought it was. I just want the headline on this. I'm not going to get back into the crack pipe. I'm not in the mood for the crack pipe right now. It's late at night, but I'm not I'm not in the mood for the crack pipe. But I just saw the headline. I did not read this article at all. I just thought, I mean, this is 2022. Is there a headline that is more 2022 than this? Joe Manchin, the Democrat, moderate Democrat, and Marco Rubio, the establishment guy, they teamed up on a bill to block government funds from being used to give out crack pipes. It's 2022. And people think I'm the crazy one who wants to decentralize and or at the very least limit the power of the federal government. They've got to team up in a bipartisan effort to fight a bill that, you know Jen Psaki has denied it, but potentially could have given out free crack pipes. Glenn Youngkin had a really awkward moment. I'm not going to get too much into this. Just just to let you know what happened, and this is nothing substantial to him, but he accidentally he sent a text to the wrong person congratulating them for a speech. He sent a text to Louise Lucas congratulating her for a speech that I don't know how to pronounce her name, Mammy Locke gave. Just another one of those awkward, like the Bill Belichick when he texted. His might have been on purpose, but when you get the text wrong, I don't know if it was a mix-up. People are trying to say they're both black. He didn't know the difference. I've mixed up black people before, not because of how they look necessarily, just got the names wrong. Like I don't care too much about that. Even though, as far as Youngkin, I am not an endorser. I'm supporting him on some of the things he's done, but I do not fully support him. I don't fully trust him at this point. I think he's an establishment dude. The Democrats, they invoke a tool overwhelmingly used by racists. So I guess the tool is okay as long as you're using it to stop a bill to sanction Russian pipeline. This is a bill that was introduced by Ted Cruz. As the leaders of the Democrat Party set their sights on nominally moderate senators, this is Sinema and Manchin, for refusing to abolish the Senate's filibuster rule. Sinema and Manchin are the ones taking the heat for this, but they are representative of a larger group of senators that aren't down for these policies. So I think if they weren't the ones taking the heat, I don't know what they're going to get in return for that, because I wouldn't be taking the heat that they are without something in return if I'm in that world of corporate politics. But there's a lot of senators that agree with them. Don't act like it's just them. And they said that themselves, so it's not just coming from me. So they refused to abolish the filibuster rule. So the party itself used it to stop sanctions measuring target Russia earlier this month. So it's okay if they use it. Senate Democrats shot down a proposal from Ted Cruz. It would have sanctioned European officials and business leaders involved with the construction of Nord Stream 2. That's a whole different topic. That's a whole nother video to get into that pipeline, what's going on, but it is relevant happening right now. Ted Cruz has been all over that. He's been grilling people in hearings about it. But the point here is they used the filibuster. And we have the receipts. It's just out in the open. Their position before on the filibuster and the position now.
Let us go no further down this road. I hope the Republican leader and I can, in the coming months, find a way to build a firewall around the legislative filibuster, which is the most important distinction between the Senate and the House.
When you were in the minority, you joined plenty of efforts to filibuster legislation.
The big difference is that we were always willing to negotiate in a bipartisan way. Mitch McConnell isn't.
Why would you not think this is the...
So it wasn't racism, though. Notice. The racism wasn't the difference. The difference is we're more honest. We're more authentic. We're more genuine. Is there anything more silly than Chuck Schumer talking about someone being genuine? Don't get me wrong. He's a brilliant politician, but authentic and genuine is not a word we would describe normally a dude like Chuck Schumer.
Let us go no further down this road. I hope the Republican leader and I can, in the coming months, find a way to build a firewall around the legislative filibuster, which is the most important distinction between the Senate and the House.
When you were in the minority, you joined plenty of efforts to filibuster legislation.
The big difference is that we were always willing to negotiate in a bipartisan way. Mitch McConnell isn't.
Why would you not think this is the beginning of the end for the filibuster?
We cannot fail on key things to our democracy like S1, and everything's on the table.
No, I'm not crazy about getting rid of the filibuster. At the end of the day, we have to end the filibuster. It is just unfair and undemocratic for a minority of the Senate to prevent what the majority of people want in this country, in the House and in the Senate. No, I'm not crazy about getting rid of the filibuster.
Everybody I've talked to believe that the legislative filibuster should stay there, and I will personally resist efforts to get rid of it.
I think the filibuster is going to be a defining debate for our party, whether we want to start delivering real results. We need to deliver on the demands, not of Democrats, but of Americans who want to see their government function.
What about that nuclear option, doing away with the filibuster?
Well, I can tell you that would be the end of the Senate as it was originally devised and created going back to our founding fathers.
Does it mean you should get rid of the filibuster?
Well, we should obviously take a look at it. If it's going to stop essential business for the United States Senate, we have to reevaluate it.
So I'm fully okay if Democrats were honest and said, we wanted it back then to stop the policies we thought were bad, and we want to eliminate it now because we feel these policies are good, even though I disagree. Why couldn't they just say that? Why are we getting into this racist and using race as a weapon? Why can't you just say it? Nina Turner, someone who a lot of people on the left think is a true populist. This is why I'm out. Just that simple. She tweeted the filibuster was a legacy of white supremacy. I don't have time for you. LeBron James, just tonight, just earlier, passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most points ever in regular season and playoff games combined. Over 44,000 points. This is a testament to greatness, to dedication, to there's luck involved, but I think most of it is dedication, health, and focus. I disagree with LeBron James on a lot of things. He got me heated a while back on a video I did. Gets me heated a lot. You could call him a puppet for China because he does a lot of business over there. That's the impression that I get from you, LeBron, that you've become a puppet. What good is all the money that you have if you can't stand up for something you truly believe in, which I don't think he does very often. Maybe he did with his school, but in a lot of other cases, I think he's race-based because he thinks he has to be. How is LeBron James able to be this great? Athletes like LeBron James, Chris Paul, Russell Wilson, they literally spend millions on their body. Investment. So he makes a lot of money, but he works hard. This is different than the 80s and 90s. You might have heard stories, Michael Jordan eating McDonald's every day before the game, which I don't blame him. He's a young man in the prime of his career. It did hurt him. He's known as the GOAT, greatest of all time. But these guys are taking their body a lot more seriously. You might have heard them drinking beers after the game and smoking cigarettes and all kinds of stuff. Most of these guys, they don't do that. I would like to, honor this moment, reliving. LeBron James had some of the most nasty dunks in-game dunks. He never did the dunk contest, but here's a couple of them that were just wowzers.
Turn the corner inside. He made Yusuf Nurkic a screensaver. 15-14.
Playoff seeding too. Yep. James again throwing it down the face of Adesanya.
Then there's a little stare.
Still two.
Then he had to give him the little stare afterwards. The Cavs lost that game. I remember watching both of those games live when I was a bigger basketball fan. I haven't watched more than 15 minutes of an NBA basketball game this season. Cavs are doing better, though. What's good, everybody? Late night stream. You know what? The kids are asleep. The wife is asleep. I'm not rushed. I don't have to rush to walk the dog or whatever. I'm usually asleep because I'm an old man now. I need to get my sleep. So I was seriously thinking about drinking a coffee before this live because I had been recording videos at this time at night, and every single one of those videos I was very slow, and so I'll do my best. But what's good tonight? What's good? Yep, LeBron James is. I cannot disagree with this comment here. LeBron James is a punk, but you still have to recognize his greatness and dedication to the game. Should have been a technical. It probably could have been with the stare down. Michael Phelps, he protect. A lot of these athletes do to recover, and Michael Phelps was a beast. I actually watched the Olympics when Phelps was a beast. I'm not into the Olympics either. Like the Olympics used to, I kind of felt like like when the Olympics were on, whether it was winter or summer, summer a little bit more though. I think the track and field was good and the swimming and other events, but it used to feel like everyone was rallied around it. I don't maybe it's just me. I don't know. I'm just getting older. I don't think anybody cares anymore. When you got TikTok dominating, I mean, it'd be interesting to see the Super Bowl ratings. I think they'll still be good because it's just basically like a party. But you've got social media and all kinds of things that are out there. I want to talk about the truckers, the truckers. Just to give a little update, it's been hard to follow. Rebel News has been the best on the truckers, but I just want to show you what I saw earlier today, and it just confused me. I'm not going to go through this whole article, just showing you that this media battle is clouding the information that we're all getting about what's happening. And this truck convoy is a serious thing, to me at least. Is one of the most serious protests that I think we've ever seen. Definitely recently for sure. And the headline here, and this is Daily Beast, truck convoy dispersed with peaceful whimper on US-Canada border. So they kind of made it general, and they gave it to a breaking news intern. They gave this story to an intern. I mean, this is one of the biggest. I mean, if I'm reading that right, it says breaking news intern. I don't know, but so I'm like, you got to get video clips from people who are on the ground. I want to send prayers up. I want to send up seriously because those truckers are in danger. I talked about how there's nothing other than optics stopping the Canadian government from just wiping it out. And when I say wiping it out, I mean wiping it out. Nothing stopping them. I want to do that. My first thing is I want to do prayers up for not just the truckers, of course, they led the way, but anyone else who is out there supporting them, trying to get them supplies, they are putting their lives in danger. That is not an exaggeration. It's just straight up prayers up. And it really made me think about it when we saw the news about this. When you start hearing the word snipers, I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Police surrounded the protesters front and back. This was I don't have the date on this, but this was one of the first stories I saw this morning. Was like police surrounded the protest, and this is on the bridge, I believe. I believe this is on the Ambassador Bridge, if I'm not mistaken. So there's protests kind of going on all over the place, and the Daily Beast headline did not distinguish. They did not they made it sound like the whole thing was dispersed. And I'm going to show you a video here that it wasn't. But snipers on the roof, man, that's scary stuff. Actual video, most of it is from Rebel News. They're posting. They're posting about this consistently. And what you're seeing is a police blockade. It looks like the strategy, we saw this early this morning, when the strength of a peaceful protest is they can only respond with peace. That's the only way they can respond. So I think the military, they obviously were ready for anything, but I think the military response that they were trying to do is they're trying to wait them out. Put the police there, blockade. So what they're saying is when you go to eat, when you got to go back to your family for a second and you want to come back to the trucks or the bridge, then we're not going to let you back. That's the impression that I got. So after a while, you've got to go. I mean, they can't stay there forever. So I think it's a waiting game. So that's what's happening here. So this is more kind of footage about vehicles attempting to block. So I just want to give a update to like what kind of, if you're not following this stuff, you're like, what happened today?
front of the police vehicle. The police have stopped their vehicles for now.
This is insane.
Oh, yep. Sorry, I did the mute thing again. Let me bring it back. I said I wasn't going to use mute. I said I wasn't going to use mute. Thanks for the chat. I can't. It's hard for me to watch the chat and look at the stuff at the same time. What I was referring to here is, we're in a serious moment. The moment's too serious right now. What's happening is a loss of trust, and I put up the comment from Rafe, and I was muted while I was reading that. But Thank you for the comment. The loss of trust can't be repaired. This is a bigger story than I think is even being made out of. This is a huge story right now, and I don't think it's being. We're hearing a lot of it. If you roll in the circles that talk about this, but as far as your normie, I mean, this is a huge story. Complete loss of trust between the people and government. I don't know how you're going to save this. If it's going to be a mediator, if it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be. If this were to happen in the States, if this were, I just so happened to see this comment. If I had to mute, I'd still be married. I feel like that too sometimes. You gotta know when to put the mute on, when not to. But I don't know the Canadian government. If this were to happen in the United States of America, people would be pushing for like impeachment. I don't know what the process is there. They just voted Justin Trudeau back in. I don't know. I don't even know how that process worked. How did that even happen? How did he get enough momentum for that to even happen? I have no idea. But you could get everybody out of there, get all the protesters out of there, and the government, even to have the government agree to lift the mandates, and this is still a disastrous situation. This is still a very, very scary and a disastrous situation where the people have lost trust, rightfully so, and there's no one in the government significant who was trying to restore that trust. In Windsor, Ontario, they were talking about the barriers. So that's the strategy of waiting them out. This is a military strategy, cutting off your funds, your resources. TD Bank freezes bank accounts that received $1.4 million in support of the convoy protests. So for us regular citizens who aren't able to be there or help, I mean, you got to boycott these companies. You got to say, well, I don't want to. I'll say this: I would not want to do business with this bank. They just froze the money. So we need parallel economies, and this is where you look into crypto. I'm not a crypto expert, but from my understanding, there might be ways that crypto could help in these scenarios. When you need to get funds to somebody without going through these banks, that any fiat currency has to go through the bank. There's no avoiding that. This was a very emotional day. This woman brought up topic. You cannot look at what's happening without thinking about T Square 89. So a woman here is emotional and crying. And she's going to talk here in a second.
I wonder, how that can make you guys feel good to make this lake a whole lady
Remember, 1989.
Tiananmen Square, 1989.
Yes, Tiananmen Square. Yeah. There's a lot of people there. Lots of students dead. For freedom. And this is what you do to them. I'm moving to Canada. I want to Canada. Not anymore. I don't deserve the respect.
You could see the cops he had sunglasses on, but you could tell he wasn't looking her in the eyes. That's for damn sure. What a day. An Edmonton police officer released an emotional in-uniform video praising the Freedom Convoy and suggesting that the mandates were unlawful and unsafe. She posted that on social media. There's a lot you can do even when you're not there. And saying thank you and risking it all, putting your job on the line is one of them.
Hi, I'm Constable Alana Golisha with the Edmonton Police Service. Just wanted to record this video for fellow police officers in Ottawa, whether it's like city police or CMP. You have been asked a lot right now. You've been asked to be leaders and make your decision in a situation that it's hard for everyone. When I joined this job, I joined it to protect, to save, and to learn about the law, the forensic science, and about people. It's a lot of psychology going on here. When I was doing my investigations on impaired like driving, even if my supervisor stopped an impaired driver had made his own decision that the driver was impaired by drugs or alcohol, I was not allowed to take over the file or just assume that the driver was impaired. I had to make my decision based on my observations and information that I saw. I had to make my own decision. It's like as any other investigation, based on thorough collection of facts and evidence, and then making your subjective decision based on your experience, your knowledge, the person's history, what you're supposed to do. It's a subjective decision every time. And I've never been told to follow unlawful orders. I've been always reminded by my supervisors, please question unsafe orders. Ask us questions if you think the orders are unlawful. And that's, I think, our job is. Thank you, truckers, for standing up for all of us, the Canadians, the people who live in Canada. I chose this country because I wanted to be free. Over the last 17 years, I've been asked many times by my fellow police officers and public why I moved to.
So at the end of the day, no one else is going to be able to brand this about anything else other than freedom.
After freedom for all of us. Thank you.
They're losing the narrative. They're losing the battle. We're going to see what happens next. Prayers up. Let me know what you think. What's good? What is good? Late night stream. So I got let me talk about the Joe Rogan and the Israel Adesanya. If hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right. He sounds like he's a well-respected beast of a fighter. I know he was on with Joe Rogan. I see the thing with Joe Rogan is I usually don't watch the UFC episodes. I usually don't watch the Joe Rogan episodes because I'm not a big UFC guy. So if he has a UFC fighter on there, I'm like, I'll probably stick, I'll stay out of this one. The UFC fighting's a little primal for me, so I don't get into that. I'll watch boxing, but the UFC fighting is he's getting a little close to like gladiator type stuff where like life or death. But these are crazy athletes. This UFC champ, Israel Adesanya, passionately defended Joe Rogan. And what I like about what he did is he didn't just defend him. He kind of put some substance on it. I'm going to show his tweet it was from Instagram, actually. He had an Instagram post where he kind of explained like, here, this is why I feel this way. But let's hear what he said. He said, F the noise.
Rapper number 12, Irish whiskey.
And Dana, I had a question for you around Joe Rogan. There's been a lot of controversy with him.
First off, let me take this one. Hold up. I'm black. I can take this one. Look.
Okay. What were...
No. There's a lot of cunts in this game. There's a lot of snakes in this game. I've been in this fight game since 2008. And Joe Rogan is one of the nicest, coolest, humble motherfuckers I've had the pleasure of working with. Understand that. And it's just, Fuck the noise, man. You know what they're trying to do. You can't control the man, and he's got the biggest platform in the world right now. So that's my nigga, Joe Rogan. Fuck the noise.
Going off that, what was the advice would you give to Joe Rogan to shut out all the noise around him?
Do what I said. Fuck the noise. Just keep doing you, Joe. Have some mushrooms. Keep doing you.
Thank you.
There are lots of ways to support.
I like how he dropped the mic after he said it. He kind of needed to do that. He's just like, I really had something to say here. Let's drop it.
Understand that. And you know, it's just fuck the noise, man. You know what they're trying to do. You can't control the man, and he's got the biggest platform in the world right now. So that's my nigga, Joe Rogan. Fuck the noise.
I like that. It's time. We're seeing that there's a lot of picking sides. It's time to stand up. That's what I'm seeing there from him. And he also posted, let me show a little bit more here. He expressed support for Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan, it was I don't think we knew at the time, because I didn't know at the time. I don't know if he did, that Joe Rogan had a scheduling conflict tonight. I mean, the fight's tonight, right? What happened? Is the fight going on right now? I have no idea. I don't watch the UFC. But Joe Rogan is supposed to be doing like the commentary for it. He has a scheduling conflict. I hope everything is okay, because that's a pretty serious scheduling conflict to miss this. Or it's something else. So to hear the athletes of the sport speak up, it's a pretty big thing. Here's what he said on Instagram. He's got a new fan. I'm not even a UFC fan, but I'm a fan of him having the courage to even do this. He said, "United we stand, divided we fall. We are living in very strange times. When a voice speaks out against the mainstream narrative, the establishment have a systematic way of shutting said voice down. I'm not asking you to think like me. I encourage you to turn off your TV and think for yourself. Don't let them pull the wool over your eyes. F the noise." That's explaining yourself. He said, I'm not telling you what to think. You tell what you do you. All I'm saying is don't be basically what my interpretation here is. He's basically saying, don't let anyone rile you up into fake anger. If you're upset about something Joe Rogan did, be upset and do you. But don't let someone else play you into that moment. Don't let someone lead you down that path where you might not really be angry or wouldn't be angry, and you just feel like you have to be. That's what happened with Beta Male, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He stood up for Joe, and it might have been just because he wanted to get on the show. I don't know what he was doing. But then he kind of backtracked because he felt like he had to, in my opinion. He never articulated that I saw why. So much respect to this young man right here. And hopefully he does well in his fighting endeavors. He is Nigerian, and there's a different perspective. When we talk about diversity, it's not just skin color, of course. It's diversity of where are you born? Where are you from? Like we talked about Lily Tang Williams, and she was born in China. So it's not just a book she read, or like me, like I'm reading books or looking at online podcasts and stuff like that. No. She lived that. And I forget the name of the young lady who defected from North Korea. She lived that. Those are perspectives we need here. And it's not surprising to me that many of them appreciate the benefits of being Americans because of the perspective that they have. There's no diss over anyone who was born in America that might be against America or have questions, but another perspective is good to have. Much respect, young man. Speak up. Let me know what you think. And I like how he dropped the N-bomb. Just was part of the controversy was the N-bomb, so he dropped the N-bomb. That was pretty cool. I got one last topic, and this one is, I just want to have real talk with this one. I know people are on different sides of this. I'm a big fan of Salty Cracker, and I think he's hilarious. He's good. I support him 100%. I don't agree with everything he says. Let's be clear, but I support him 100%. I love his energy. Like, that's the guy I want to hear when I want to get hype. He's that dude. So here's where I would differ. Or you know what? I think it's important to have the perspective of a salty cracker. I was just talking about perspective. The perspective of a salty cracker, and then I will come with a different perspective. And I think there's space for both to provide balance. There was a new hire, and I don't even know what the position is. It's not even relevant to me for my take here. It could be any position. So people are talking about the new Department of Energy hire for in the Biden administration, and the background that this person has, that they have. And you'll see why I'm using they. This is getting into using the proper pronouns. And people had, I don't know. I can't speak for people who were on that side, but people kind of had concerns about things that had been brought up about this person, Sam. So let me play a video. This is from Now This. I know this is Now This and I. We don't. we're not eye to eye. That's for sure. But I still think it's important to hear the perspective, and I want to treat this as an adult type topic.
I use they and them as my pronouns, and when someone uses they and them as my pronouns, I feel like that person is listening to me. That person cares about me, and that person wants to have a conversation with me. Pronouns are a fascinating part of modern culture. I don't think many people think about them very often until someone like myself or others say their pronouns. So when I introduce myself, I generally say, "Hi, my name's Sam Britton. I use they and them as my pronouns, and I serve as head of advocacy and government affairs for the Trevor Project." I give this before I even give my job because it's the important way that you're going to describe me. Not what I do, but who I am. And that I respect for my gender is really, really important. I think our culture has built itself around an idea that the faster I can learn something about you, the faster I can interact with you. We are a system of speed. And pronouns sometimes slow that down, right? Like, the assumption makes things easier. We are, every single time we meet someone, immediately putting some type of judgment on them. Really, we know how to interact with them. But that judgment could be wrong. And so I think the hard part is to change perspective. Now, this isn't asking you to run a marathon. This is you saying that you want to be respected in a specific way, and I can do that for you by using a pronoun. Things that companies and schools can do are, on the first day of classes, and for maybe the first week, having a sticker where you tell people, "Hi, my name is Sam, my pronouns are they and them." It's also really important to recognize that pronouns change sometimes. Many of us will not always have the same pronouns because our gender is changing or our gender realization has changed. I think that's really, really important for us to say that the flexibility of your personality should be something that we can respect, and the flexibility of your gender identity is something that we can respect. Pronouns are confusing. I'm not going to say that they're not. But if I can have the President of the United States use my gender neutral pronouns and I can respectfully use theirs, then I think we're going to be in a world where everyone can be respected and everyone has the responsibility to be respectful.
I'm going to say this. I do agree with him. I feel like we all have the responsibility, or I'm sorry, I agree with them. I think everybody has the responsibility to be respectful. And that video was respectful. Now, I know there's a lot of other things, people talking about the Trevor Project, and I don't know. I'm not going to go down that path. If as long as you are not breaking the law, then it's everything else is a different type of judgment. Is preference. So I'm not aware of him or them breaking the law. So then I'm not going down that path. So this is something that people took a different direction. Like this is my boy Salty Cracker. He went ham. And I like in his video. I don't know if anybody's a Salty Cracker fan on here. In his video, he actually had a moment in there where he said, "I would make fun of anyone if this information had come up," and I think he's 100% right. I think there's stuff that came out about preferences after dark. Like we're doing stuck in the middle after dark, and Sam Brinton has preferences after dark that came out, and Salty Cracker was making fun of it. But I think he would have made fun of it no matter who it was. And let's be adults here. Let's not act like people have things that they do after dark. I agree that we would hope that that doesn't come out. Just like we heard Heather McDonald earlier, we don't want too much information. Keep that. It's just not appropriate to come out. If you can keep that under wraps, keep that under wraps. Stuff happened with Jack Murphy recently. If you can keep that stuff private, just keep that stuff private. But this Oregon GOP gubernatorial candidate admitted that, he and his wife, like, they did certain things after dark. He admitted that they explored this lifestyle, swinging, before deciding that it wasn't for them. Okay. My question is, are you for freedom? Like, I'm not looking for a lot right now from a politician. Like I talked with Will Cormier the other day, and he was like, the bar is really low. And I'm like, that's a good point. I'm just looking for somebody that can respect the First Amendment. Like, can we get one of those people in charge? I don't care I don't care what you do after dark. Like everybody has their own thing that they do after dark. Just keep that to yourself. And I don't think that, for this hire, Sam Brinton, that's not where we need to go. That's not where I'm going to go. Everybody can go wherever they need to go. I have my own weird things. Remember, I said Nancy Pelosi's sexy as hell? I've got my own things. She's so powerful. She's able to say, you know what? I know it's a conflict of interest. It's not really a free market if members of Congress can trade stock, but it's complicated. Like, what about the spouse? Her and Paul. She's like, what about your spouse? Isn't that sexy that it's demented? It's a mental issue, but to have the confidence to just blatantly tell everyone you're a pleb and I'm not, there's something sexy about that. Let me have my after dark preferences. Don't tell my wife if I said Nancy Pelosi was sexy. I just put this on here because Billions, the show Billions, they kind of showed that. That was the point of the whole Dom thing in Billions, is to show like these powerful people they've got, and sometimes with the more powerful they are, their mind works in different ways. They've got all these. Are they sociopaths? What are they? They've got things going on. My only thing is, are you going to protect the Constitution? Like, I don't care about all that other stuff. So I do want to go where Martin Luther King Jr. went. I know it's corny. I think people tune out when you bring it up now, but I'm not going to stop bringing it up. Martin Luther King Jr. really motivated me, reflecting on what he meant when he talked about content of character. It referred to core ethical values, honesty, integrity, respecting others. For me, the stuff that leaked that I've seen about Sam Brinton doesn't affect any of this. I'm not going to judge the book by the cover because this awkward stuff came out. I don't care what political party you're. That's not the reason. Just like when Mayor Pete went home with he and his husband to take care of I think, do they have twins? But he took, paternity leave. And I'm like, that's not what I'm going to knock him for. I'm going to knock him for, who did you set up when you were gone? Or what have you done since you got back? I'm not knocking him for paternity leave. There's too much substance that you can do. We're in a battle to win the hearts, minds, and souls of people. I just talked about how 40% of the people, 40% of Gen Z identifies in some type of group. You're not going to win the long-term battle just demonizing them for that. You've got to show them you can be in an identity group and still not attach yourself to the Democrat Party. Why is everyone who's in the identity group attached to that party? There are people in the Republican Party. I'm not an identity person. I'm not a Republican, but there are people in the Republican Party who are identity based or who are in America First. I don't care about the GOP. I mean, America First. If you demonize them, how do you do that? Sam Brinton graduated from MIT with a master's degree in engineering systems and a master's degree in nuclear science and engineering. This is not some chump. This is a smart person. So I'm going to judge them based on substance. And at the level, that position, I've never heard of it in my life. I'm not probably going to be able to do that. But for those who can, let's keep it about that. And I want to end on the pronoun. We talked about pronouns. I think the pronouns come down to respect. And here's where I sit on the pronouns. He said, it might be a good thing if you introduce yourself using your pronouns. For me, I appreciate it if they introduce themselves to me and say, hey, these are the pronouns I prefer. It's no different. I know it's shifting the Overton window left. I got it. But respect for me comes first. They are. Are you going to respect where they are or not? Now, in a scenario in school, I am not for forcing every student to announce their pronouns. That's not the same thing. If you fall in that identity camp, if a person's teacher, whoever, and you want to introduce and say, hey, this is what I go by, great. But there should be no, hey, everyone, come on and announce. That's a different thing. That's a whole different thing. That is bringing in critical theory of gender into school, and that has no place. Respectfully, so I respect and I will use the pronouns. I'll make a mistake like I just made a mistake here and correct it because I'm not used to it. It is different. But I don't think it should be forced on people like, okay, now if you're in a private business, it is what it is. I don't know if that breaks any laws or so that if you're in a private business, it is what it is. That's the company you're with. If they say, hey, everyone introduce yourself with your pronouns, I would hope that wouldn't happen, but who knows? But in school, that should not happen. That should not happen. If you say anyone who wants to state theirs, that's fine, I think. But if you're putting pressure on everyone to say you have to, like this is the exercise we're doing today, that's gone too far. And that's what the bills in Florida are about. so parents know what's going on in their schools. They'll know if a teacher made their child do something and the parents like, that's not I don't do that. But when you think of the pronouns, it's no different than someone whose name is Michael and they say I go by Mike. Like, do you call them Michael? I mean, it's disrespectful. That's just my thought on the pronoun stuff. Let's just respect each other. Let's have the ideological battle over substance. Nothing else. And let's not shut people out. This is a battle of numbers. It's a numbers game. So I'm not into identity, but if somebody says, hey, you want to call me this, but it goes two ways. I'm not going to play games with it because I think it's too serious. But if I'm just going to throw out a hypothetical, if somebody said, hey, I like to use the pronoun and my pronoun is call me Mac, call me the Mac. You're going to have to respect. You're going to have to. I didn't make the rules. You're going to have to respect that. So be careful what doors you open. Someone could be a smart ass and start playing games like, hey, my pronoun is Pizza Hut. I didn't make the rules. So if you don't respect mine, then it's tough. I know it sounds silly, but it has to go both ways. Let me know what you think. That's all I had. Let me go back. I'll go do some comments before I go out. Right, left to center. Represent. What is up? Oh my goodness. Sub up to the channel. First sub up to her channel immediately. What's good? Thank you for stopping by. I got to hit you up so we can build. I hope you had a good weekend. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, and if people don't, I respect it too. If someone says I don't respect it, I get it. For me, it's just like, man, I don't want to cause friction based on that. It's more for me based on, like, if I'm talking about something, the more the substance of it. So yeah, I can't knock anybody for feeling either way, but this is a serious divide that's coming. Oh, you said not calling people Pizza Hut. Is that what you were talking about? My bad. See, that's why I gotta learn the context, and I should have asked, but I don't know. I don't know about that one. I really don't. Um, to me, if you and this is for anybody who doesn't know, sub up to Right Left of Center on Rumble as well. This is River from Right Left of Center. Great channel. I've used some of her clips. I think turnabout is fair play. If I don't know if you've seen these videos, Libs of TikTok has been the account that's really blown these up, because on my TikTok feed I don't see any of these, but people have made up pronouns. Like, they literally say, hey, refer to me as Mix, like MX, like Mix or whatever. They're just making stuff up. And turnabout's fair play. If you make something up, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not, because this identity hits at the core of who people are. So you play games with that. I'm not playing games with the pandemic. I'm not playing games with race. I'm not playing games with identity. But someone could say, I identify as MAGA. So don't refer to me as he, refer to me as MAGA. And it stands for Make America Great Again, by the way. And I'll refer to you as they. I'm sorry. To me, it's fair game. And that will happen. I think that will start to happen. You keep pushing this, and especially how he said it could change from day to day. Like, okay, I'm MAGA one day, and I don't know, call me MTG the other day. I don't know. Just that's why you might want to not go down that route. So I'm not going to do that, but I think people would. Lips of TikTok pronouns include clown, clown self. I'm not doing it. Oh man, River, we're gonna have a good talk. River, I love what I really like about her channel is she's very creative. And like I think the first video I saw was the puppet one that went viral. I love that video. We're gonna have to talk about that. So I'm at the end of my live, but I'm just doing comments right now in the attempt to eliminate masculine and feminine roles in society. So while I said I will respect their, the pronouns, their pronouns, I will still bring that up. I have a concern here. I want to respect everybody and all that, but I have a concern. We can't go to the point where it feels like we're eliminating, like Adele. What did you see the Adele clip? I think she just said, "I love being a woman," and she got attacked for it. I think we've gone too far. Like, I'm gonna respect you, respect Adele. It's not complicated. And I'm the type of person, even if you don't respect me, I'm gonna still respect you. I don't think we can win this. It's just my moral. It's just my principles. I'm not going to compromise just because the other side might not. And I played that video from Sam. He was respectful in that video. But in general, just because the other side might not have principles doesn't mean I'm sacrificing mine to win a battle. I'll lose the battle and keep my principles. I ain't changing it. My pronouns are FJB. Yeah. You could see, that could happen. Imagine if you're in a company or you probably get fired in the company. You wouldn't want to do that. But say you're in a school environment and you're forced to introduce with pronouns, and maybe some people make up pronouns or something like that. My pronouns FJB. Stands for whatever you want it to stand for. Thanks for stopping by. Late night live. I'm really not in a rush because the kids are asleep. The wife's asleep. Normally, I got to go do dinner, dishes, whatever the case may be. Democrat equal anti-American hypocrite. I'm looking at I'm going to do a video on Brandon Straka. The dude, I believe that's how you pronounce it, right? Brandon Straka. The dude from Walk Away. His story is crazy. Go to his channel. I think it's Brandon Straka on YouTube or Walk Away. The one that has about 200,000 subs. He got hemmed up for J6 and he's back, but his story is crazy. I gotta talk about it. And the reason I bring that up is he walked away from the Democrat Party. I say don't walk away. I don't know why it's called walk away. You better run your ass away. That party is going to end up putting people in really bad positions. Run your ass away. And that doesn't mean run to the Democrat Party. I mean, the GOP. That means find yourself and then find people who, like-minded citizens first before we even worry about politicians. Politicians ain't going to save anybody. But yeah, if you are attached to the Democratic establishment, you need to run your ass away as far away as possible. That is a dangerous organization. They are something else. Last few times filled out for an ATF for a gun purchase by Rafe Marshall here. They have included non-binary on the form. I mean, what are you going to do? The Overton window is shifting left, man. It really is. I'm going to speak out against it, but I'm not going to be disrespectful. All right. So I'm going to go out here, but thank you everyone for stopping by. I appreciate it. I'm going to try and chop this up for clips, and I have a different channel where I put the clips on. I'll post it up here in the comments. So look out. I'm going to probably do that Brandon Straka video tomorrow. So look out on this channel for that. I think it's a captivating discussion. He did a live the other day, and it was I was like, it was like I forgot what it was. It was like 2 hours long or something like that. And it was captivating. I listened to every single word of it. It was unbelievable. Couldn't believe what happened to him happened in America. And he's still fighting for America afterwards. Heck of a story. Well, thank you everybody for stopping by. I appreciate it. We'll see. Who knows if I do another live tomorrow. There's a lot of topics out there, but take care. Have a good night. Be safe. Prayers up to everybody and their family, everybody watching, and of course, those fighting for freedom. Take care.